Hi, guys. Hi, friends. Courtney here. Hi, April. I see you, my friend. So happy you are here. Hopefully, we'll have some of you join us tonight. I felt as though that was really great. A really great podcast connecting to the information for our kiddos and talking about how to like hold space for them. So tonight, guys, if you're joining us or if you're watching this on the replay, we were just on the Forbidden Knowledge Network on my podcast, Cosmically Connected, and you're watching the after show here. And so being over there, I hope that you guys will go back and re-listen to that because it was a really great podcast talking about how to hold space with our kids. And so the point of this after show connection is for us to take questions, to take comments about how we can maybe better hold space for these kiddos, how we can better show up for them and connect with their full potential for full energy. It is not easy, by the way, raising gifted kiddos, especially when they're overly emotional sometimes. Who gets tired? I know Ethan might raise a hand real quick. Raising sensitive children sometimes, because it can be difficult. It's not always easy. Take a breath with me. But us being able to hold really sweet space for them and let them understand too that we can feel those things. We don't have to maybe get everybody else into the emotions with us, but it's okay for us to feel fully what we're feeling. And so April, I see your question. April says, how can I strengthen my abilities? April, I'm sure you've heard me say it, but that I'm Not Crazy book is literally your best friend. And so doing the meditations, tuning in to your highest self and your energy. April, in the comments, let me know if you're doing that. Are you meditating? Are you connecting to yourself in that way, creating a quiet space or quiet time for you to feel your energy or what you know to be true? Let me know if you're doing that. We'll have a dialogue in between all of the other questions too. If you're doing that, we'll dive in deeper with that information. LaSoul, thank you, by the way, for all of you. I mean, for you putting the links in. I so appreciate, my friend. It takes a village, and you're a part of my village. And so thank you so much for that. It does mean the world to me. LaSoul says, Courtney, my kids are all teens now, and I sometimes feel like they're less willing to absorb anything I try to teach them about their abilities. Any recommendations? LaSoul, girl, I'm taking a breath. I'm having to readjust because I'm holding space with you. I want to use my sweet Paige, my sweet 25-year-old, as an example here. She was through my journey all along, me finding confirmation in my gifts and abilities. And so very often I dragged her to a meditation class. I dragged her to Kundalini yoga. I dragged her to many different things, which is hilarious. And there was a moment in a time where she thought mom was cool. She thought that stuff was fun. But then it hit where she just was like, she was over it. And that was like mom stuff or whatever, right? What I'm finding is with me not pushing anything, and this is mom to mom, I'm talking to you, my friend, is the best thing that I think I ever did was not push any of it on her. I would validate, she would maybe share stories about her own friendships or, boyfriends, relationships, whatever. And she'd see me stop, take a breath in, and do my thing, yet not putting any of that upon her. And she, in time now, she knows that there's gifts and abilities that she has. She still is trying to decide or understand or have some of those confirmations for herself, which is healthy. I don't think that any of our children necessarily need us to tell them, hey, this is what you are, da, da, da. We don't have to necessarily lay it out there for them, but if we can help them find the puzzle pieces, I think that's the point. Because if we lay it all out there for them and we tell them about their abilities and we do all of that, then I think that they're always going to feel that the confirmation was gained from somebody outside of themselves. And I think it's a really important, I feel like maybe I should have talked about that on the podcast. So hopefully those people will come here. But I think that whenever they are given the space to find out also what they know to be true for themselves. The power of that ownership is massive. It's huge. And so if you can simply leave it there, leave the crumbs there, take a breath, keep you coming back and doing your thing. The children that are supposed to find it and that ignite that energy within them will find it. And so that's a really great question. So let me know if that helps you. It might also be super annoying because I don't know that there's any right way to maybe make our children take ownership of the gifts and abilities. For me, maybe it's more so about leading them to the water. So just showing them that also that I'm Not Crazy book for them later in life, whenever age appropriate and whatever. You've got older kiddos now. Maybe when we do that, they will see like, wow, that's so cool. I knew that at that age. And so if that's something that, you know, many of you probably did not do that. I did that at certain moments. I need to continue to keep doing that for my 8-year-old as well. But if you can even backtrack to say, yeah, you were around this age when this happened, you were around this age when this happened. And that can be something really beautiful when they finally are somewhat taking ownership of those gifts. My 25-year-old, I mean, she knows what I do. Of course, she, again, has been there right along for the entire confirmation of the ride, if you will. And she sees all of the work, she sees everything, and she finally is at that space and time where she will call me because she's got a friend going through this. I don't always love that, but she'll call me and say, Mom, I need your help or whatever. So she's definitely valuing that connection. But what I see her doing more than ever is starting to trust her own connection. And that, guys, that takes time. And it takes them messing up. It takes them not listening. It takes them feeling what they know what truth feels like to them and going the opposite direction. Guess what, guys? Do you know what we have to do as parents when that happens? We have to let them figure it out. Because what happens is they become stronger adults, stronger people, stronger in their connection and stronger in their knowing. They have to figure it out just like we do. But having a parent, hi Jane, and my friend, I love you. I'm so happy to see you here. What happens is whenever they start to take ownership, they will realize too, this is how it feels to me, is they're also getting confirmation and direction on how to connect to us one day when we also pass. This is a beautiful dialogue or a beautiful connection that can start while they're little and they get a little bit at a time, again, age appropriate. But when they're taught to come back to their own space of energy and connection, they will, I believe, I trust, they will find their way. And I think that's really cool. Let's see. Jennifer says, I didn't say anything for a long time. And finally I said to Caden, you have gifts. He said, I know, like no big deal. Yeah, very often they do. And it's kind of, I mean, if you look at TikTok, kids or everybody's talking about this or that or empathic or, you know, whatever. And so this is how I lead as a parent though, is I typically don't believe that we need anything outside of ourselves to tell us what we know to be true. So us just connecting to our own light, our own energy, we don't necessarily need a tool like, I mean, people love tarot cards. For a long time, I really held on tight to those paintings that I was getting when I was still feeling like I needed, I hate to say it, but it's the truth, sometimes something to hide behind. And we do that because we're nervous to maybe put ourselves all the way out there because it feels scary to fully be seen. It feels scary to fully understand the information we receive. And so that does take, you know, moments of confirmation, and that can last over a lifetime. And so, yeah, very often when they know it, they're like, yeah, I know it, whatever. And they move along, which is super cute. Something that I'm seeing here lately is lots of clients, you know, I just came back from that beautiful, I'm so dehydrated, by the way. I'm like trying to like swallow and drink all at the same time. Sorry, guys. But at the retreat I just came back from, beautiful, beautiful retreat, like 23 women. I spoke on intuition and connecting to that source and that divine energy within. Did a large group gallery, which was also very beautiful messages being shared there by their loved ones. And then did private sessions for many people. Now, everybody there was, I'm 46, so everybody there was 44, I would say, on up. And what I see in people starting to find out that they have gifts and abilities is they're starting to really almost be frustrated because they did not get their validation sooner in life. Their validation that this even was possible, that it was not an evil thing, that it wasn't a scary something, that it is connection under divine light, under source, God energy. And I'm seeing people really wanting to embrace those gifts, but a frustration that they did not find them sooner. And so it's really cool in a way, everybody coming together tonight on this podcast, anybody with us. We just finished this full topic over on the Forbidden Knowledge Network and had this conversation over there, which was really great. So if you're just tuning in to this after show, please do me a favor and go to the original podcast, watch that, and then come back with us, because we jumped into a lot of different ways that our children feel energy, and also other ways that we can come in and show support and help them stay grounded in those gifts, and maybe how to support them through that connection. But it's important for us to keep having the conversation with them. And sometimes it's even our own stories of, our own experiences, maybe when we were around their age or this way or that way. And so that can be a really great kind of topic, a great way to bring your kids in and have those further conversations about even, say, your own dreams of your own loved ones coming through from the other side, and how you hold space for it, and how for the ownership of that information, but then also how you hold space for your own skepticism even about some of that too. Teaching them that it's also okay to second guess it, teaching them to know that it's also really beautifully valuable to want confirmation from themselves, or to have a sense of skepticism over the information they receive. I believe that when we come from that space, it's so beautifully authentic, and I think that it can be a really cool experience when it falls into place, because then there's no questioning their gift and their ability. They're actually taking ownership of what they know to be true. And that's really cool. La Soul says, I was made to feel like I was demonic when I was younger, so I was scared to tap into my gifts till my late 20s. I know things happen when they're supposed to, but I feel like I'm behind sometimes. I understand that. I get that. I was raised Southern Baptist, so I was always taught that was like, ooh, scary or whatever. And so I understand that. I think that what we should be taught is there are different ways of connection. So some want to connect to lower grade energy, and that there is energy like that. And so to teach the way to connect to the highest of energies, I do believe is important. We want to make sure that our kiddos know how to connect to, say, sacred space, to the higher frequency of connection. Very often when we're younger, we are feeling lower grade energy because we're not taught to filter, if you will. We're not taught how to, or that we even have the ability to connect to a higher frequency of light, if you will. And so I understand, very often, many people when we're little too, show me an emoji if any of you watching or listening understand this when I say that connection was scary. I was so scared of my gift, even into my early 20s, because it always felt like I felt like every home I ever moved into was haunted. I felt like I was quite overwhelmed with the energies, and I was always scared because I was always scared when I was little because I wasn't taught that I could make, a boundary with anything outside of myself. I wasn't taught that I had the power to rise in vibration and demand in a way the certain type of frequency of energy I wanted to connect to. Now I can feel those things that come through. However, I notice it out here and I don't allow that in. And so it's very interesting to watch that. Alexandria says, my son was very sensitive, intuitive when he was younger. When he went to school, it changed. And then we had some traumatic experiences and it put up barriers. And I want to know how I can help him break them, I believe is what you're saying. Well, thank you for sharing that, my friend. Therapy, honestly, I think that when we have traumatic experiences, when we have really hard things happen, the connection to spirit is heightened when we're healing that energy within. And so I believe that if we are overwhelmed with trauma, when we're connecting intuitively or in a psychic way, psychic energy, it can send us through a loop of overwhelm sometimes. And so for me, and this is the way I feel about that, Alexandria, and there are other opinions and other people that might feel different ways. But I think getting a really good grounded space of themselves back or working in that connection is really important. And then finding meditation, finding your own space so that the meditation's good because then when you continue to do it and it's actually taking hold, you're finding connection with yourself, you're learning within you what your energy feels like. And only when we know ourselves fully can we really understand the world around us. And that's a thing, guys, that never ends. That's a constant need to understand our own space and our own energy. And so I think that you helping him find that connection can then help him understand the different levels of connection outside of himself. And that involves intuitive, empathic, psychic information, of course. Alexandria says, and now it comes out in anger and he's very shielded and told him that I'm here for him and I want him to break down those barriers. Yeah. So they will work through them in time. Again, us being the example of connection, we can't necessarily force them. And I know you're not wanting to force him. You're just wanting him to evolve into his highest form, which is loving and kind. And so you holding space for that. When you see his connection or you see him having some sort of awareness, you just breathing in that full 4-count breath in. On that pause inside, you're saying, thank you for the awareness that is mine. I'm asking that nothing but the highest, truest, or the best manifest upon him now. And you send that golden light of connection around your son. So if he is to awaken to those gifts and abilities in this lifetime, he will. That's your prayer. That's that mother's prayer. And if he's not, maybe he's not meant to. Maybe he's meant to. Maybe he's not meant to. And so that's the thing. This quest, I believe, is a soul divine quest. And so, I have a twin sister she's wonderful, love her. I'm telling you, she also has my gifts and abilities, but she shuts them down. And that's also her right. She can do that if she wants to. And we are here to be examples of connection and love and heart and breath. And that's it. And so that's the hard part, is that when we are fully connecting to ourselves, we're showing the world around us what that looks like. And it's not always up to us, even when there are children, by the way. You see me wince as I say that, because God knows I wanted to pull my oldest into it here and there. Many times I've said, hey, do you want to do this work? You want to work for me? You want to do this? And she's like, oh, Mom. She could, but it's maybe not her path, and that's okay. She's connecting in her own way, and if she is to evolve, if your son is to evolve into that ownership of it, they will, because you're helping hold space and showing them also what it looks like as you're showing up for yourself. What I find is they typically always come back to it. They do. All right, guys, listen, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast tonight. And then, not just that, but tuning in to the after show. It means the world to me. My intention in with this channel is to grow it, is to continue to keep doing these fun after shows every time we do a podcast, and even doing more. And so I will be in Florida this Thursday, Friday through Monday with the Forbidden Knowledge family and the team. And maybe we'll do some lives over there with some of them. And so I'm excited to continue to grow this page too. So if you feel like this information, the after show, the questions have been helpful, please do me a favor, follow, like, and share. We are just simply crawling along in this growth here on this channel, and it would mean the world for you to help me in the support. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always your support. I appreciate you, April, Jennifer, Teeters, Jane, and also my Alexandria, and also LaSol. So LaSol, again, thank you for putting those links up in the podcast tonight. Again, means everything to me. All right, guys, I will see you later. Bye.